Everyone, and welcome to Long Island MacArthur Airport. Thank you all for coming today. I'd like to welcome our elected officials, which I have here behind me is Supervisor Phil Nolan. I have Councilman Jean Parrington, Councilman Steve Flotterin, Councilwoman from town of Babylon, Ellen McBeady, and Ralph Ascadley, and Jennie Nedell. And then we have George Elkin from American Portfolios. So thank you all for coming, and I'd like to also introduce or actually mention this facility is Fred Costi's facility, and he was very generous to allow us to use this facility for this event. He is not, unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. We have Jenny's mom, Lorraine, and her sister, Laura Nedell, and then her aunt, Cindy. So we want to just welcome everybody. Today we're announcing a special event. It's a September 11 event, one that is near and dear to the hearts of all of us who work at Long Island MacArthur Airport. It's near and dear to our hearts because we who work in aviation know firsthand how deeply the events on September 11 have forever changed our country, because we live it every day as we strive to provide security for our traveling public. I am sure that everyone here today, in one way or another, has been affected by the events that took place on that day. Many among us have lost loved ones. When Jennie Nedell first came to work at MacArthur a few years ago, she and I discovered that each of us had lost loved ones on September 11, and that both their names are engraved in granite on the September 11 hometown memorial at Cedar Beach. This knowledge formed a kinship between us, a kinship that a few people share. It's a truly special bond. Among Jenny's colleagues here at MacArthur, there is a great deal of respect and admiration for how Jenny has responded to the terrible, terrible way in which her father died when she was still so young. Rather than let the death defeat her, Jenny continued to study the sport that they took up together. And she applied herself with a single-minded focus. Jenny has become a kickboxer champion on the amateur level and is poised to go pro in the near future, something I am sure her father would be very proud to see. Now she is taking it to yet another level, bringing together her hometown family and her town of Islip family at MacArthur Airport to help remember her father, Lawrence Nedell, and then, of course, my loved one there, Joseph Ravelli, and all those who died on that awful day. When beginning to plan the event, we learned of another uncanny coincidence. There was a connection between Fred Costi, our host today. He also lost a friend that day on September 11. Jenny's dad was last seen trying to carry another man to safety. Neither man was ever seen again, and it turned out that Jenny's dad was carrying Fred's friend. Some people say that there are no coincidences. This was not just a coincidence, it's a connection that brings us all together here today. So I am very happy to be here. I am happy to be able to support you, Jenny, and you've made a very big difference in all of our lives. So now I'm happy to introduce our town supervisor, Phil Nolan. From day one, Supervisor Nolan has supported our efforts to improve the airport's amenities, infrastructure, and attract new airlines. But he's also been very strong in helping us raise funds for special events, like the 5K run. Well, he's here today to lend his support as we raise funds for yet another worthy cause, the town of Babylon, September 11th Hometown Memorial. Now, that's true leadership. We have two towns working together to support this memorial. So I now would like to introduce Supervisor Phil Nolan.
As always, very well done, Teresa. Just a little note. I was actually involved with the town of Babylon when I was Commissioner of Public Works there. When the town of Babylon was establishing the memorial, was involved in some of the artwork. But Councilwoman McBeady really, truly, completely spearheaded that effort in Babylon. If you haven't seen the work, it's worth seeing. Truly a wonderful, wonderful example of commemorating a tragedy and making its positive response as possible. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. This is, in my mind, an example of a person who took a terrible hit that day, as many of us did here at, this whole region is ground zero for this war on terror. We took the worst blow that has been taken in this war as it is ongoing. And almost everyone has a close person that perished or was involved that day. And Jennie, obviously, with her father being involved in passing and these other stories that Teresa spoke about, it makes this horrible tragedy so much deeper and more personal. And but Jennie has gone forward, as I recall the President Bush at the time saying, we must go on. And we do. And we do. And Jennie has gone on in a very positive manner. She's living her life to its fullest. She's growing as a person. And she's giving honor to her father's memory and to all those that were lost that day. So to be participating in this today is a privilege. I'm very happy to be here and honored. And I just thank Jennie. I thank everyone involved in this effort because this truly is one of many, many, many great American responses to that horrible tragedy and the disgusting act that occurred that day. So thank you for being here today, and we're going to have a good event that day, and I wish you all the best as you become a professional. That's quite an accomplishment, and I wish you health and success in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'd like to introduce Babylon Councilwoman Ellen McVitie. She is the chairwoman of the Babylon Town's September 11th Hometown Memorial Committee.
First of all, I'd like to thank the airport very much for accommodating this fundraiser. It's truly a unique setting for this event, and we're very grateful. And Supervisor Nolan and Islip Town Board, thank you for supporting our September 11th Memorial. It's quite a beautiful place, and I invite you all to come and visit. But most of all, Supervisor Nolan gave me some credit for building this memorial, and our memorial was not my effort. It was the effort of all of the families involved, all of the families that suffered terrible tragedy that day. And unfortunately, most of us were strangers before that, but we've become more than friends, we've become family, and I'm very grateful for that. And Jennie Nedell and her mom, Lorraine, and her sister Laura are part of my extended family, as is Ralph Ascoli, who is a tremendous, tremendous part of the memorial. He is the mainstay. He makes things happen down there, and he watches out for us. So I thank you all very much. I am very grateful for this opportunity to make some more money to support our memorial. And I'm also grateful for the friendships that I gained through some very adverse times. Thank you all.
Now I'd like to bring up to the podium our champion, Jennie Nedell.
Okay, it's a lot easier to punch people than speak, so bear with me. I just really want to thank everyone for being a part, and the amount of support that I've gotten through the years, or even just this last couple of weeks of planning this event, is unbelievable. I originally started to do this because when it first happened, they had the event, and I couldn't be a part of it. When they first started building the memorial, I just didn't have it in me. So this is my way of giving back. So I just really want to thank everyone for helping me and remember my father and everybody else that we lost that day. Special thanks to my colleagues who deal with my moodiness while I'm training and helping me deal with this. My fight team, Fusion Competition, and most importantly, Supervisor Phil Nolan for letting this happen, and Commissioner Mizuta for all the support. Thank you guys. Now, the man behind making the rest of the Cedar Beach stay together, the real champ. Come here, Ralph. Ralph Ascoli.
That's grossly overstated. Thank you for inviting me. First of all, I want to thank the airport. I want to thank the town of Islip and, of course, Jennie and her family for again running this event. All the proceeds go to the Town of Babylon Hometown Memorial. And as Ellen says, you must come and see it. It's absolutely beautiful. Not 1 cent is spent easily, okay? This is not built by me or anybody else. It's built by the families. The families were the ones that decided what this thing needed to look like, and they're the ones that make all the decisions. All this money goes to improve the site, to make it maintenance-free, and to make it ever-enduring, to honor our loved ones. Ellen McVitie was the one who found out that there were 45 families in the town of Babylon that lost 48 loved ones, including my daughter, Debbie. She's the one that got us together, and we eventually became a family, as she said. We had no idea what we were doing. We found out that many families had nothing, no remains, no story, nothing. And we weren't sure what we needed to do about that. We finally decided that we needed to do something and build something lasting. And that's when we decided we were going to build a memorial. The town of Babylon gave us several choices of where to go, and you need to come to the dunes between Overlook and Cedar Beach and see this beautiful site that honors our loved ones. The families decided they needed several elements. They needed to have, they needed to fly the colors. So we fly the flags 24/7, and they're lighted at night. They're beautiful. We fly the town of Babylon flag. We fly our own logo flag, which was designed by a schoolgirl in Lindenhurst. And we fly the American flag, of course. We have an eternal light, 3 spires that are lighted all the time. Absolutely gorgeous. We have a water feature, something else the families wanted. But most importantly, we have a special area called Memorial Way. Each loved one has a stone dedicated to them. It has their portrait etched in black granite. It has writings by their spouse or their child or their loved one. And there are a couple of icons that each family was allowed to put on there. It's absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't matter whether it's 10 minutes or 10 years. It's always the same. We can never forget. This year on the 10th, the families always gather on the 10th. We're making some changes to the site. The donor wall, we will recognize people like Jennie and her family that have made contributions to make this site a reality, and that donor wall will be done before September the 10th. We're upgrading our eternal light. It's going to have LED lights in it, so you can see it offshore, you can see it from the beaches, you can see it everywhere. That's just some of the things we're doing. As I said, every cent, every penny that she raises, every cent that goes to the site is well spent, and it's not wasted on anything. It's to make the site enduring and to honor our loved ones. Thank you very much for your time.
I wanted to say this because I was involved in this, and I want to say that these two people, at the beginning of this process, to try to put together this memorial, because it involved a lot of people, took incredible patience, time, to honor everyone's input and opinions. It's hard to get 3 people to agree. They had literally 45 people involved. Mr. Ascoli lost his daughter, and what you saw up here a moment ago is just reflective of his commitment and passion for this task for 10 years. And Councilwoman McVitie, her work parallels that. So while they don't want to take any credit, and I don't think it's about credit, but their commitment is unfathomable how much they've given to this task. So I want to say that because it's true. And your love of your daughter and your commitment to all of this is just very, very special from a human standpoint, and we thank you for it.
Oh, okay. So thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to commend my staff here for stepping up and taking on this event. And it was so soon after the 5K, we're still trying to recover from that. But they're doing a terrific job. I'd like to also thank our stakeholders who have signed on as sponsors, again, including HMS Host and US Airways, MacArthur Airport, Holiday Inn, and Swissport. I know there'll be other stakeholders signing on in the next couple of weeks, so we thank you for your support. And of course, George Elkin, American Portfolio, he has been really supporting Jennie through this, her endeavor with kickboxing all the way. At this time, we are going to maybe do a little, did we get Jennie's boxing gloves?
Yep.
Okay, do we have, I think it's Supervisor Nolan first that's sparring.
This nose has taken a lot of punches in my life.
No punch, no punch.
I get a
Yeah,
pair of
you're just
gloves.
gonna help me, no gloves. We got, what, come on, bring it on up.
Give me a headgear.
You're in different weight classes. I'll give her $50.
Gotta do better than that.